One of the biggest moves of the NFL offseason so far was the Houston Texans trading star wide receiver Deandre Hopkins to the Arizona Cardinals. Hopkins is arguably a top 3 receiver in the NFL, but at the 2013 NFL Draft, he wasn't taken before the 27th pick. Today I'm going to talk about the 26 players drafted before Hopkins and how their careers have turned out. Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're not already subscribed, please do, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like. Now let's get right into the video. Before I talk about the players taken before Hopkins, let's see how Hopkins got to this point in his career. Deandre Hopkins was born June 6, 1992 in Central, South Carolina. He went to high school at D.W. Daniel High School, and he played football, basketball, and he also ran track. Hopkins was also very talented on the basketball court in high school. In his senior year, they won the state championship, and Hopkins was named the Independent's Male Player of the Year. After high school, Hopkins had 5 colleges trying to recruit him. He eventually chose to go to the University of Clemson. In his first game, he got 2 passes against North Carolina, and the following week he scored his first touchdown. In the final game of the regular season, Hopkins got 7 passes for 124 yards and a touchdown, and in the Miami Carable, he caught 9 passes for 105 yards. Hopkins ended the season with 52 receptions for 637 yards and 4 touchdowns. He was Clemson's leading receiver, and after the football season, he also played college basketball. In his second season, Hopkins played better, catching 72 passes for 978 yards and 5 touchdowns, but he still hadn't had a great season. Then, in his third season, Hopkins finally broke out. He caught 82 passes for 1,405 yards and 18 touchdowns. He was named first-team All-Conference, and he decided to forego his senior year to go to the draft. He was invited to the Combine and went to Clemson's Pro Day. Going into the draft, he was ranked the 3rd to 6th best wide receiver, but he was the 2nd taken. With the 27th overall pick, the Houston Texans took him, and he played immediately. On his NFL debut, he caught 5 passes for 55 yards, and later in the season against the Titans, he caught a season-high 7 passes for 117 yards and his first career touchdown. Hopkins ended the season with 52 receptions for 802 yards and 2 touchdowns. Hopkins was a bright spot on the team that went 2-14 that season, and Hopkins was named to the NFL All-Rookie team. In the offseason, Bill O'Brien became the Texans' new coach, and Hopkins had an even better season. He was the Texans' leading receiver with 76 receptions for 1,210 yards and 6 touchdowns. In his third year, Hopkins set the record for most touchdown receptions in a single season for the Texans. He caught 111 passes for 1,521 yards and 11 touchdowns. He made it to his first career Pro Bowl and was named second-team All-Pro. 2016 was Hopkins' worst year since he was a rookie, with him only having 78 catches for 954 yards and 4 touchdowns. Hopkins bounced back the next season, though, catching 96 passes for 1,378 yards, and he led the league in receiving touchdowns with 13. In a game against the Seahawks, Hopkins had 224 receiving yards. He was named first-team All-Pro and was ranked 13 on the NFL's top 100 list. Hopkins had an even better season the next year, making 115 receptions for 1,572 yards and 11 touchdowns. He finished 3rd in the league in receptions and 2nd in yards. He was named first-team All-Pro again and was ranked 13 on the NFL Top 100 list again. In 2019, he caught 104 passes for 1,165 yards and 7 touchdowns. He was named first-team All-Pro for the 3rd year in a row, and in the offseason, he was traded to the Arizona Cardinals. So far in his career, Hopkins has had 632 receptions for 8,602 yards and 54 touchdowns, but still at the draft, he wasn't taken until 27th overall, and that brings us to the first player that was drafted before Deandre Hopkins. With the first pick in the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs took offensive tackle Eric Fisher. He's been on the Chiefs his whole career, but he's been mostly average. He signed a 4-year contract extension in 2016, and since that he's had some good games, but also some bad. In the divisional round of the 2016 playoffs, the Chiefs got a 2-point conversion to tie the game, but it was called back because of a holding call by Fisher. The Chiefs couldn't get their other attempt at it, and ended up losing the game. He's made 1 Pro Bowl, but he's been a starter his whole career. Fisher hasn't been the best first overall pick, but he's been mostly reliable for the Chiefs. Second overall, the Jacksonville Jaguars took Luke Joeckel, who was an offensive tackle. Jokel wasn't as successful as Fisher. Many sports analysts had Jokel going first overall at the draft, and he only got to play 5 games in his rookie season due to injury. The Jaguars later decided they wouldn't pick up Jokel's fifth-year option and was signed by the Seahawks, where he played for 1 season before he retired in 2017. With the 3rd pick, the Miami Dolphins took defensive end Deandre Jordan. In his rookie season, Jordan played every game but only made 26 tackles and 2 sacks. On the 3rd of July 2014, Jordan was suspended for the first 4 games of the season for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy. Then on September 19th, the same year, Jordan violated the drug policy and was suspended an additional 2 games. The next year, Jordan was suspended the whole season because he violated the NFL's performance-enhancing substance policy for a 3rd time. Even though he wasn't suspended the next season, the Dolphins didn't play him a single down, and he was released in the offseason. He signed with the Seahawks, and he made 10 tackles and 4 sacks, but he was then suspended for 10 more games. He was cut by the Seahawks and signed by the Raiders. Deandre Jordan is a talented player, but he hasn't been able to show that because of his many suspensions. Lane Johnson was selected 4th overall by the Philadelphia Eagles and has stayed with the Eagles since that. Lane Johnson was probably the most successful offensive lineman taken so far, with 3 Pro Bowl selections and 1 first-team All-Pro in 2017. He helped the Eagles win the Super Bowl in 2017 and was ranked 95th on the NFL's Top 100 list. He is also known for wearing a dog mask after the Eagles won in the playoffs, which signaled them being the underdogs. Lane Johnson was a good pick for the Eagles. 5th overall, the Detroit Lions took defensive end Ezekiel Ansah. He's played with the Lions until 2019 when he joined the Seattle Seahawks. He's had a successful career, racking up 174 tackles and 50.5 sacks. He was a good pick, but would the Lions rather have had Hopkins? With the 6th pick, the Cleveland Browns selected Barkevious Mingo. Mingo was the first linebacker selected, and on his NFL debut, he had 2 tackles and a sack. Later, the Browns didn't pick up Mingo's 5th-year option, and he was signed by the New England Patriots. Mingo didn't make a single start with the Patriots, and in the offseason, he was signed by the Indianapolis Colts. After the season, he went to the Seahawks, and after a season with the Seahawks, he was signed by the Raiders. After the 2019 season, he was signed to a 1-year deal by the Chicago Bears. Mingo has been good at times, but he just hasn't been able to stay in one place. Offensive guard Jonathan Cooper was taken 7th overall by the Arizona Cardinals. Cooper was average, starting sometimes, but sometimes playing as a backup. In 2017, he was traded to the Patriots. Later, he got injured and was cut. He was picked up by the Browns and started in 3 games. In the offseason, he left the Browns and signed a 1-year contract with the Cowboys. He started 13 games but got injured late in the season. He signed with the 49ers but was cut before he played a game and was picked up by Washington. In a game against the Eagles, he got injured again. He was cut and signed by the Raiders. He was then cut again and hasn't been signed since that. With the 8th pick, the then St. Louis Rams selected Tavon Austin. Austin was the only receiver drafted before Hopkins, but his career wasn't as successful. Austin has played for the Rams and Cowboys and has 2,000 career receiving yards and 15 touchdowns. Austin was known for his speed, running a 4.34 40-yard dash at the combine. Austin was solid, but the Rams probably rather would have had Hopkins. With the 9th pick, the New York Jets chose cornerback D. Milliner. Milliner had a very promising rookie season, with 56 tackles, 15 passes defended, and 3 interceptions. The following season, Milliner got injured and missed the start of the year. He played 3 games, but then in Week 6, Milliner tore his Achilles tendon and didn't play the rest of the season. Milliner got surgery in the next season and missed it, and in 2016, the Jets didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He became a free agent and was never signed to another contract in the NFL. 10th overall, the Tennessee Titans drafted Chance Warmack. Warmack was the 2nd offensive guard taken. In 2016, the Titans decided to not pick up Warmack's 5th-year option, and he signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. He only signed a 1-year deal, but he re-signed for another season. He started 11 games in his first season and 8 in the year after. Warmack wasn't on a team in 2019, but in this year's offseason, he was signed by the Seattle Seahawks. With the 11th pick, the then San Diego Chargers selected DJ Fluker. In his first season, Fluker started 15 games and made it to the All-Rookie team. The next season, Fluker injured his ankle, so he only played 12 games, but the year after, he played all 16. He was cut by the Chargers and signed with the New York Giants. He started 6 games before getting injured and was not re-signed. He was picked up by the Seahawks and started 10 games in his first season. Fluker signed a 2-year extension with the Seahawks, and he still plays there today. With the 12th pick, the Raiders took cornerback DJ Hayden. Hayden only played 8 games in his rookie season, and he got 25 tackles, 2 pass deflections, and an interception, and a forced fumble. In his second year, Hayden missed 6 games, but in the 10 games he played, he had 47 tackles, 10 pass deflections, and an interception. Hayden became the starting cornerback for his third year, and he had a career-high 70 tackles, 8 pass deflections, a sack, and an interception. Hayden got injured, and the Raiders didn't pick up his 5th-year option. He was signed by the Lions and scored a touchdown against the Chicago Bears. He got signed by the Jaguars and currently plays for them. In 2018, he had 46 tackles, 1 sack, and 1 interception. 13th overall, the New York Jets took defensive end Sheldon Richardson. Richardson was the Jets' starting defensive end for his rookie season. He was named Defensive Rookie of the Month for November. Sometimes the Jets would play him at fullback, and he scored 2 rushing touchdowns. Richardson was voted Defensive Rookie of the Year, and in his second season, Richardson had 8 sacks and made the Pro Bowl. Richardson played only 11 games the next year due to suspension. He made 35 tackles and 5 sacks. The next year, he was suspended for the first game but started all the other 15 games. Throughout the season, the Jets tried to trade Richardson but couldn't find anyone. After the season, though, Richardson was traded to the Seattle Seahawks. With Seattle, he had 44 tackles, a sack, 1 pass defended, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. He signed with the Vikings and then the Browns. He's had a solid career, but he's really declined since the start of his career, and Hopkins would have been a better pick. With the 14th pick, the Carolina Panthers chose Star Lotulelli. He was named the starter at defensive tackle. In 2018, Lotulelli signed with the Buffalo Bills, and he currently plays for them. In his career, he has 177 tackles and 11.5 sacks. He also has 2 forced fumbles. Safety Kenny Vaccaro was taken 15th overall by the New Orleans Saints. In his rookie season, Vaccaro had 79 tackles, 8 pass deflections, 1 interception, 1 sack, and 1 forced fumble. After 2017, Vaccaro was signed by the Titans and has played there for the past 2 seasons. In his career, he has 578 tackles, 10.5 sacks, and 10 interceptions. 16th overall, the Buffalo Bills selected E.J. Manuel. Manuel was the first quarterback taken. In his 10 appearances in his rookie season, Manuel had 1,972 passing yards with 11 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. In addition, he rushed for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns. In his second season, Manuel was benched after 4 games and didn't make a start until Week 6 the following year. Manuel lost all the games he played and was benched for the rest of the season. In 2016, Manuel's 5th-year option was declined and he became a free agent after the season. He was signed by the Raiders. Derek Carr, the starter for the Raiders, got injured, so Manuel had to play. Again, he didn't win any games and was released. He was signed by the Chiefs but never played, so he retired from the NFL in 2019. With the 17th pick, the Pittsburgh Steelers selected linebacker Jarvis Jones. After 2016, Jones left the Steelers and signed with the Cardinals. He was cut before he played a game, and he has not been signed since that. In his career, he only made 128 tackles and 6 sacks. With the 18th pick, the 49ers took free safety Eric Reed. In his rookie season, Reed made 77 tackles and 4 interceptions and made it to the Pro Bowl. The next year, Reed got 3 interceptions, and the year after, he made 72 total tackles. In 2016, he made 10 starts, and he had 62 tackles, 5 passes defended, and 1 interception. After 2017, Reed left the 49ers and joined the Panthers. Then in this offseason, Reed was cut by the Panthers, and he is currently a free agent. With the 19th pick, the New York Giants drafted Justin Pugh, the offensive tackle from Syracuse. Pugh made it to the PFWA All-Rookie team in his first season. He spent 5 years with the Giants before going to the Cardinals. Pugh started all 16 games with the Cardinals this season, and he has 3 years remaining on his contract. 20th overall, the Chicago Bears selected offensive guard Kyle Long. Kyle Long made the PFWA All-Rookie team and made it to the Pro Bowl in his first season. He also made the Pro Bowl the next 2 seasons but hasn't made it back since that. He made second-team All-Pro in 2014. He's played with the Bears for 7 years, but this season he became a free agent and has not yet been signed. Tight end Tyler Eifert was taken 21st overall by the Cincinnati Bengals. In his rookie season, Eifert missed the end of the year, and he missed all the games except for one the year after. In 2015, Eifert only missed 3 games, and he made the Pro Bowl after making 52 receptions for 615 yards and 13 touchdowns. He was ranked 44th on the NFL's top 100 list. The next 3 seasons, Eifert only played 14 games and had 6 touchdowns. In 2019, Eifert didn't miss any games, but only made 43 receptions for 436 yards and 3 touchdowns. Eifert became a free agent and was signed by the Jaguars. Eifert has been good, he's just been injured for most of his career. With the 22nd pick, the Atlanta Falcons took cornerback Desmond Trufant. In his rookie season, Trufant made 70 tackles, 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble, and he made the PFWA rookie team. In his second season, he only had 61 tackles, but he had 3 interceptions. In 2015, Trufant made his first Pro Bowl. After 2019, Trufant was released by the Falcons and signed with the Detroit Lions. 23rd overall, the Minnesota Vikings chose defensive tackle Sharif Floyd. In his career, Floyd made 95 tackles and 9.5 sacks. He has not played it down in the NFL since 2016. With the 24th pick, the Indianapolis Colts took linebacker Bjorn Werner. Werner made 18 tackles and 2.5 sacks in his rookie season. 2 years later, in 2015, Werner only made 13 tackles. He was then cut by the Colts. Werner signed with the Jaguars but was released before he played a game. He then retired from the NFL. 25th overall, the Minnesota Vikings chose Xavier Rhodes. Rhodes was the 4th cornerback taken in the draft and made 48 tackles in his rookie season. The next 2 years, Rhodes started every game and made 2 interceptions. In 2016, Rhodes made 52 tackles and had 5 interceptions. He made his first career Pro Bowl and was ranked number 66 on the NFL's top 100 list. Rhodes made it back to the Pro Bowl in 2017 and then again in 2019. After the 2019 season, he left the Vikings and joined the Indianapolis Colts. With the 26th pick, the Green Bay Packers selected defensive end Detone Jones. Detone Jones played with the Packers for 4 years before leaving. He played with 3 different teams in 2017, and in 2018 he joined a new team. He hasn't played since 2018, and in his career he made 88 tackles, 1 interception, and 10 sacks. And of course, with the 27th overall pick, the Houston Texans chose Deandre Hopkins. There were some good picks, but if they could draft again, most teams probably would have taken Hopkins. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. If there is another player you want to see me do this with, please tell me in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.